Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Whiskey Review Time. You know what time it is. Today, we got something special. A little 2016 William Larue Weller. Now, this is a Buffalo Trace product. It is released once a year. It's part of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and it is barrel strength. So, the difference between regular Weller and this is 107 proof. And this happens to be a single barrel. This is a small batch, and it is barrel strength. So that's the difference. High proof, cask strength, 107, standard product. Anyways, so this is released once a year. It's highly sought after. A lot of people go after it. It is a wheated bourbon. Obviously, comes from the Weller line. Wheated bourbon, again. This is some awesome stuff. In general, everyone tends to gravitate towards the George T. Stagg and the William Larue Weller. Thomas Andys are awesome as well. Sazerac Rye 18 is also in that antique collection, and so is the Eagle Rare 17 year. I'm not a huge fan of the Eagle Rare 17. It can be good from time to time. Different years vary. It's kind of like wine. Each year is a little different than the other. So, anyways, let's get down to the business. See that proof? What is it? 135.4 proof. And let's give her a little shake, a little shakeroo. So I've had this bottle open for about 5 months, 6 months now. I've drank about half of it. I've opened it with a lot of friends and family members and shared a lot of it with others so they could get to try it. Like I said, each year is a little different. I'm going to give you a review of this one. This one seems to be super hyped. Don't exactly know why. I love William Larue Weller. Have a few on my back shelf. This one is overhyped in my opinion, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. So, let's get down to the nose. It's got a really pretty nose. It's sweet and, it's fruity. A little bit of raspberry, pear, and cherry in there. A little bit of that caramel and vanilla just weaving in and out. This is also 12 years old. I didn't state that before. Current product, Weller 107, is 6 years old. This is 12 years old at cask strength. It's got a great nose. This is a great whiskey. Now, I paid secondary. What was secondary on this? I paid $1,500. You're like, Spencer, why on earth would you pay $1,500? Number one, a lot of people saying 2016 is the best. Got to try the best. So, of course, I had to have the best, right? Traded a few bottles. Got this. It's definitely gotten better with air. On my initial opening of the bottle, I wasn't super crazy about it. It was good, almost great, but it was a little tannic, a little oaky, in my opinion, in the beginning. It's had 6 months of air, plenty of air to bourbon ratio at this point. Let's see where she's at. I haven't had this in a few, 2 months. It's just sat on the shelf for about 2 months. Is it worth $1,500? That's the real question here. I'm giving this review to let people know this one's super hyped. Is the hype real? Is the hype real? That's the real question. Like, is a bourbon? It's up to you and your pocketbook if a bourbon is actually worth that much. I trade, or sometimes I'll just, buy the bottle outright. I don't get a lot of these at retail. If I can, I do. But at this point, I live in Northern Kentucky. I'm in Cincinnati, so Northern Kentucky is totally, out of the question. You got to get in with the store. I've played the games. I'm kind of over it at this point. Honestly, I'm done playing the reindeer games, and I don't have time with my job to, go play these games. I live in Cincinnati. I'm in the west side, so to drive 30 minutes to a liquor store that, when I have a liquor store 2 minutes around the corner, that's Ohio. Ohio is a controlled state, meaning it's all controlled by the state. Kentucky is very different. They can do whatever they want with pricing, put out stuff when they want. They can even sell stuff out of their private stock sometimes, or at least I've seen that at bars. So, anyways, back to the review. It's got an absolutely beautiful nose. You get that, you can tell right away it's wheated. Based on that, you can smell a little bit of that wheat. It's sweet, it's caramely, it's corn. You got a lot of fruits on the front end for sure. This is great. Do not let me understate that. Is it $1,500 good? I don't know if I'd buy another one of these at $1,500. 800, maybe 1,000. I think 1,500 is a bit much for 2016, in my professional opinion. I have a couple of older vintages. I have a 2009 and 2011. Paid the same, 1,500 for the 2011, and then paid 2,000 for the 2009. We'll talk about those in another review, but I'm trying to make a point here. Not everything is worth the dollar amount that's put on it on the secondary. So with the initial first sip, I'm getting lot of fruit, a lot of raspberry, caramel, vanilla, get some of that oak in there, and it's got a wonderful nose, that's for sure. Definitely drinks at 135 for sure. It's hotter. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it definitely drinks hot. It's got a nice mouthfeel. I wouldn't say it's a 10 out of 10 mouthfeel. Like, oh my God, super velvety. It's got a nice mouthfeel. It's about a 5 on a mouthfeel. I want to 10. Got a lot of flavor, but that heat drives it. And there is a little bit of bitterness and still a little bit of tannin in there that I've had other William LaRue's that are just mind-blowing at the same proof point or relatively close. Is this one $1,500 good? No. Is it a great pour? Absolutely. Is it a great whiskey? Of course. If you see them on the shelf, buy them, but good luck with that. It's the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and it comes out once a year. So with that being said, let's talk about the finish real quick, and then we'll give it a score. The nose is just like freaking awesome. The nose is where it's at. To me, the palate doesn't meet the nose. Like, the nose is spectacular. The palate's great, don't get me wrong. There's still a finish, but you're left with some of that heat still. And let's do one more sip, and then we'll do the score. A lot of great flavor, but on the back end, you're left with that heat. You're left with tobacco, some astringencies, some of that. It's great, but it's not phenomenal. Like, a lot of people hype this one of the best William LaRue's. I disagree. Honestly, I disagree a lot with this. Honestly, would I seek out a second bottle? Absolutely not. Not at the price point that it's at now, which is like 15 and going up. On the back end, you do get some of that sweetness. You get some of that earth tone. You get some of that sweet wheat. It's a wheated bourbon. So you get a little bit of that. You get a little bit of, I'm still getting a little bit of that tannin though. And I'm still getting some astringency. And to me, it doesn't coat the mouth and finish the way a spectacular bourbon should. All right, let's go to the score on this guy. I want to score 1 to 10, so what we do. If I was to give this a score, a fair score, and people might not like my score, but I think this is like a 7-9. Honestly, like, okay, I'm looking at the J.W. Dant. This is an 86 proof bourbon. This is an 8-year bourbon from 1969. This is spectacular stuff. Killer mouthfeel, start to finish, all the way through. This leaves with astringencies and a lot of heat that a good balanced bourbon doesn't finish that way. It comes in, beautiful nose, goes and hits the palate, nice and creamy, phenomenal mouthfeel, and a lot of flavor as it unloads and unpacks. and as everything's going on. And then on the finish, you shouldn't be left with a lot of heat. I'm left on my tongue with a lot of heat and astringencies that I don't like. So I think this is a 7.9, honestly. Like, I wouldn't go any higher, and I won't go any lower for sure. It is what it is with this. A lot of people may not like this review. I'm just being honest. I love William LaRue Weller. I think this drink's a bit hot, in my opinion. And again, great whiskey. You can't state anything less than that. But I'm going to be fair. If you're looking to purchase this on secondary or trade up for it, I might go with a different year. I've had a lot of vintages. 18 and 19 were awesome. They're a little less in proof. They're way more rounded, in my opinion, as a bourbon. And they're a lot less on secondary or if you're trading for it, whatever. Definitely, there's a lot of hype behind the 16, and I'm kind of over it, in my opinion. So that's the score, 7.9. See you next time on Whiskey Review Time.